then I didn't. I just dropped. I never even responded. And then but he did apologize. He wrote back and he said, "I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. You seem like a nice lady, blah, blah, blah." I still didn't respond. I didn't get the last little chump change. I was like, just let it go. But lo and behold, that's how simple. And it's like gambling, I think. Like people take a risk if they offer this much money that they're going to get the reward and they're going to see something. And it's really sad. I did not like it.
And I think it's like that. Like whatever Denise's second tier is, I think you go there and yes, you definitely get more, but I think it's not what you were thinking. And then you want
Right.
more. It's like each level, it's like so that's I think that's how you do it. That's how you do OnlyFans.
Ah.
But I've
Well, she's
never
making a lot of money, right?
but yes, and what's funny is I don't know where I heard this. I think it was like on page six, Tori Spelling went on to Denise's OnlyFans, just like this. Is just like I'm curious, and got caught up. Like she couldn't stop herself. She got caught up, and like Denise didn't know that it was Tori Spelling, and she was just like, "Oh, I want to see what comes next," and like this and that. So I think, and Tori was like, "I spent like yeah, like by the end of the whatever." I spent like X amount of dollars just trying to get to like another level of Denise's OnlyFans.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's how it
Well,
works.
I did not recognize the person's name, but it was like some like really big popular OnlyFans model. And she just recently got out of the business. Like she retired. Like she racked up like $250 million and she's out. Like she's done. And I think she met the Russian oligarch. Like she met some Russian dude on this, and I think she's gonna marry him.
Well, that's winning the lottery. Then you never have to do OnlyFans again.
Yeah, but who knows what you gotta do with this guy.
Correct.
Wait.
Do you recognize Kyle? I want because you said all these years like you didn't recognize Rinna when she was going
Yeah,
through that. Like, you worked with Kyle. Do you recognize
yeah,
he seems
yeah,
like
I
the
know I
same
do.
Kyle?
Yeah, she does. She does. I mean, I don't know anything about her and Morgan. I know
Morgan.
nothing. I wouldn't ask her. I would not. No, no. I think that takes, I mean, the thing for me when I thought about it, because I saw some stuff and somebody had said something else and I was like, oh God. And then when her and Mauricio, announced the divorce, I thought, do I send her a message like I'm sorry to hear that? And because I really like her and I like him. And then I thought, there was already the Morgan stuff that was coming out at the same time. And it felt to me, and I think you and I have said this before, I don't ever want to be, I'm not the friend that ever wants to like be in the gossip. Like that wasn't the purpose. And I felt
Right.
like if I couldn't pick up the phone or say something out of genuine friendship that didn't feel like, you know, I don't know. I think that's a hard road to go down. And I think, when you have kids and you're filling on the show and her knowing that everyone's gonna want to know and now seeing how she doesn't want to talk about Morgan or Morgan doesn't want to be talked about. I have no idea. I haven't seen anything if there's no like paparazzi pics of them together anymore, right? Or I've been gone. I don't know. There could
No,
be.
the last thing really was Kyle was in Africa or Morgan was in Africa, and I think Kyle joined her or someone, but this goes
Oh,
back like a while, like maybe 2 months at this point. And there's a picture of Kyle and a friend, and somebody, these listeners, these guys are good. Somebody saw the Jeep behind them and some woman under a blanket. Now, these things that these fans find, I would never find. But there it was. If you blow it up, the Jeep was behind Kyle and this friend of hers, and there was a woman peeking out. So obviously, or someone said hide, or Morgan said, get me out of the picture, or Kyle said, duck down. I mean, it was
wait, was it
clear.
her?
Yeah.
It was her?
Yeah, so she
Oh,
didn't want to either, didn't want to be, they said we
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't
Well,
think it
she
was
said,
on purpose, like let's try to tease the audience, but someone said, "Well, what do we have here?" And sure enough, it was her.
mm.
So
I
I don't
mean, it
know.
sucks. It's hard. I mean, and I don't, what's the age difference between them?
Morgan is going to be 30 this just like we're in December, 30. She is 30 now when Kyle is what, 58? I think Kyle's 58. So what is that? 28 years?
Yeah. I mean, so I guess what I'm trying to get at is like Morgan's her daughter's age.
It's like I said on this podcast recently. I don't think that, I mean, people are saying like is she with Morgan? People should also start to say, because Kyle said, I don't know. I'm questioning my sexuality. Like I don't know what this means. But people should really start to picture like who knows who Kyle's gonna end up with. She might end up with an age appropriate woman for all we know. It's possible. I
Yeah,
don't
sure.
know, but I agree. I don't think Morgan wants to be mentioned at all based on this picture. And I mean, clearly, I mean, Garcelle was funny then when she was like, I don't understand. We're going to pretend. And Andy just asked Kyle, like, are we really not going to mention Morgan this season? And she was like, you're so shady, Andy. And he's like, I mean, we know who you're talking about. And she wouldn't even say her name in the response. She was like, I mean, this was like at a like interview, and she was like, I'm trying to respect certain people's requests who didn't ask for this
Was
life.
that like an after show something?
Yeah, well, like there was like a fan fest thing for the weekend. It
Oh,
wasn't just Beverly Hills that was there, but there was like Miami, and the question came up, and Andy just asked her, and she was like, "I'm trying to respect
she won't
someone's."
answer. Yeah.
She wouldn't
So they're
mention the
that
name.
so then they're still together.
I think so, right? Or at least friends.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know. That to me would be, if I had kids, a really hard thing to navigate. You know what I mean? Just because she has a daughter that's still in high school, and not to say that her kids can't understand it. I'm not saying that at all. But, you know, it just was a lot on a kid's plate to have to explain. And kids, they go to school, or even the ones that aren't in school, all of a sudden it's just like, well, your mom is this, your dad's that, and I don't know. I I don't know. I don't know. I just I there she's a nice person, and I just hope that she just, and I think she looks happy to me. Honestly, I don't think your original question is what do I think she's changed, or is she looking different or whatever? No. Mm-mm. I think that if I would say anything, is that I feel like, you know, maybe she's not as busy with like her home life, because there isn't such a home life like it was. But
And
eventually that would change anyway.
you thought of reaching out to her, but then you stopped yourself.
I did. I thought this was a while ago, not recently. I thought like, oh, like I was really like, and that, and when people say that they're getting a divorce, it's not about like being sad that, you know, oh, I wish you'd stay together. I would never say that to someone, because we all know that everyone's life behind their own closed doors cannot be what everyone sees. So I have no idea. I don't have any idea what it's like, but I'm always sorry when that's the reality, and I'm sorry when there's like a big beautiful family that's been coexisting for a long time. That's the hard part of it. Um, yeah, but I felt like that about her, because I felt like every time that I was over at her house or saw her, I just felt like, oh, she's a great mom, she's a great wife, she's a great family member, and like she really was like the nucleus of holding it down. And when that goes, you know what I mean? And if she goes off and starts another life with someone else, it just changes everything. And it affects a lot of people, and it affects like far down the road, you know what I mean? With kids, and yeah.
Well, she said too in some interview that like sitting her daughters down and saying like, I'm questioning my sexuality. She's like, that was like the hardest conversation she's ever had to have with them. Which I mean, I could imagine.
Yeah. I mean, they're also, the kids are living in a big city, and I'm sure they have other friends that are, gay, and it's not like they have never been exposed to this. I mean, give me a break.
LA.